I've built quite a lot of bikes on this channel now. Back in 2021, I built probably my favourite, and whenever I ever talk about bikes, that's the one I always talk about, and it is this one here. It's a Emmle Nevada. Pretty unknown bike. I've googled it a couple of times now, and it pretty much only comes up with one result, and now quite a few results, but they're always just my bike. It's a 26-inch steel mountain bike with one of the weirdest geometries that I've ever ridden. It's potentially sold as an extra large bike because of how tall it is, but it's also quite short, so it's very weird and very hard to describe how it feels when you ride it. But it's the main reason why I love it so much. I've used it for commuting, I've used it for a little bit of mountain biking, I've used it for just general fun. I've rebuilt it a few times, and it just, every time I touch it, it literally brings me joy. A perfect example of that is the day I picked it up. Just picked up a new bike. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's sick. But like I said, I've built this a few times. I built it with 26-inch wheels, big balloon tyres, a nice basket, and kind of used it for just muddling around. I also then put 700C wheels on it, which actually worked quite well. Luckily I put these mud guards on, otherwise I might have got wet. I even then built it kind of with 700C wheels as almost like a cyclocross build. Out of the really weird builds that I did with this bike, this was probably my favourite. Like, the tyres looked absolutely dope. I kind of like the green and yellow cables. Everybody says this bike looks like it's kind of lilt. This is very, very lilty, if that's a thing. The handlebars were nice and wide. It was a lot of fun, but it just was weird. And then I built it to the kind of glory that it deserved, which was the 26 mountain bike, and took it for a ride with my dad and my brother. Fun little fact actually, this clip was from the first ever video that I released to Save Old Bike stickers. Back then they were like decals that I was cutting out by hand. It took a very, very long time. So I want to play a clip actually from that video where we went for a little ride, and I first showed you the Save Old Bike sticker. I took it back to Somerset recently when I was visiting family. So me and my brother...
I think that looked alright. I don't know how to stop it though.
And my dad took it out for a ride. It was really good, we had a really good time. It was a ride we've been planning to do for years. There's a fort on the end of this hill called Breen Down, and you can ride to it from our house, but right in the middle was this bridge that had been closed for years, and it finally opened a few years ago. And that's where we went. It was crazy windy this day, but it was still way fun.
I was literally thinking about any minute now Dad's going to start screaming.
The bike was really comfortable. I had just enough gears, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it so far, but it was fun to ride. My dad's an expert rider and does some pretty good stunts.
I'm really sorry, I wasn't recording.
And that was that. Really all-round great day on a great bike. But finally answering the question that I started this video with, a good bike is one that you can have fun on. It's one that you're gonna love no matter what it looks like and what you do with it. Bikes are meant to be used to have fun on. Fun's probably the key word here. But most importantly, I think we should save old bikes. The Save Old Bike stickers are still available at saveoldbikes.com. They just look like this now. I've actually just sold out of these. This is the last one, which is about to go to someone's house. Thank you very much. They now come in silver and purple currently, but I change them every now and then, and there's loads of other stickers on there as well. But there's a key thing that I mentioned it then about the fact that it doesn't really matter what the bike looks like as long as it feels good and is fun. That's why I build bikes all the time, because I want some fun. And it's slowly bringing me to the conclusion and the kind of point of this whole video, which is I want to build a very, very fun bike again, and I want your help. But before we go there, again, it doesn't really matter how the bike looks, but as you probably noticed from the thumbnail of this video, it didn't look like that. It looks something a little bit more like this. Now, I hear what you're saying. Hey, Craig, where did you get that creative idea from? That is genius. Well, it wasn't really me. Me, my wife, and my 3-year-old son, one summer's morning, decided to pull out one of my frames. I peeled all the stickers, I polished it, gave a bit of a sand, just to kind of get a matte finish, and then attacked it with Sharpies, drew, scribbled, wrote stuff, whatever we really fancied. And then pulled out some spray paint. He's 3 years old at the time. Obviously I didn't give him the spray paint, but I did spray it into little cut caps and gave him some paintbrushes, and we painted it until we had enough. I've got to say, out of all the paint jobs I've ever done, this is the best one, by far. Like, it looks amazing, and also, it was a 3-year-old. Like, it's sick. And that was the last time it was built. That iteration that we see there, that was it then. I rode it for probably the rest of the summer, used it commuting, used it for just whatever I wanted, and I retired the frame. I was very attached to that bike and very, very attached to that moment of paint with my son. But on reflection now, the motto of this channel, save old bikes. I've essentially stored an old bike. What's the point of doing that? I've got the memories and footage and film and several YouTube videos now that I can always look back at that moment and see what I think. So if the paint ever got chipped, everything went wrong with it, it's cool. So I want to rebuild it. And that's where you guys come in. I want this bike to be a bit more of a community channel bike. Don't really know what that means, but I'll try and explain it. I'm going to probably build this bike maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, depending on how it goes. But each time I do that, I want you guys to choose and decide what we do with it. Maybe it could be really extravagant, maybe we'll do some crazy things in the future, but for now, let's just do something fun and different. I've posted it on my Instagram already, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, by the time this goes live, and lots of people had lots of ideas. The big one is clunker. That's what most people have talked about so far. We're talking coaster brakes, wide ass bars, single speed, probably chunky mountain bike tires, something that I can go and find some muds and get stuck in. but I want you guys to help as well. So the comments are now open for everybody to go nuts on what you would do with this bike, or what things have you wanted to do in the past on a bike and never kind of got around to it. Let's just fill the comments up with ideas, and then hopefully in a week or two time I'll be able to collate these parts, get something going, and we can build something that is for the channel. And again, we'll kind of tinker with it as the years go on, and it'll just be, instead of just being stored out back literally doing nothing, probably covered in spider webs, full of false widows, I imagine, which is, we'll deal with that when we get to that. Let's make it somewhat fun. And it doesn't have to be realistic stuff. Like, it's not, I don't need it as a commuter. I've got plenty of commuters. I've got bikes, workhorses and stuff like that. This is just a bit of fun. We'll dig it out every now and then to do something with, and yeah, let's build a fun bike. So a little bit of a different video today. Well, kind of lured you in with the fact we were going to build a bike. Instead, I just talked about a bike that never really got the light of day. Like, that video is quite old, and all the videos on that bike are quite old, and they don't have quite as many views as the current bikes do, and a lot of my new subscribers don't even know that bike ever existed. So I thought it'd be nice to kind of introduce it, refresh it a little bit, and then get you guys on board on what we're going to do with it. So don't be shy. Let's talk down below. I've already had like a bunch of ideas over on Instagram, so I'm going to collate them all together and we'll do something really cool. And I think that's that. As always, go and check out saveoldbikes.com. There's quite a few new stickers on there at the moment. I've restocked a bunch. We're in a pretty good place the last time I looked, but you are buying them pretty quickly. But if you enjoy this type of content and you want to see the bike that we build, I do suggest subscribing to the channel. It'd be a really good idea to do it. It's absolutely free and it helps me out a bunch. And if you can't wait until next week's video, that one there is a particularly good one.